All right, we're diving back into Kafka's The Metamorphosis, and if you thought part 1 was bleak, well, part 2 is where Gregor Samsa's terrifying descent really begins. This isn't just about the physical change anymore, it's about his entire world and his own mind collapsing in on itself.
This line right here, it's the key to the whole section. The horror is no longer just, oh my God, I'm a giant bug. It's that the bug is starting to win. His new alien instincts are taking over and literally erasing the person he used to be, starting with the most basic things imaginable.
So let's start with this first stage of alienation. Gregor is now basically a foreign object in his own bedroom, and his sister, Gretty, gets stuck with the impossible job of being his sole caretaker.
And you see this change almost immediately with food. Greta, trying to be kind, leaves him a bowl of fresh milk, his favorite drink as a human. But now, it actually disgusts him. Instead, he finds himself drawn to, rotting garbage. It's not just that his tastes have changed, it's a profound signal that the insect is conquering the man. His body is literally rejecting his own past. Greta's role here is just so complicated. On one hand, she's the only one who even tries to care for him. She's the one cleaning his room, trying to figure out what this new creature will eat. You can see there's still a piece of that family bond left. But on the other hand, every single thing she does is dripping with fear and disgust. She can't even stand to look at him. So here's the tragic part. Even her acts of kindness just reinforce how much of a monster he's become to them.
So once the physical shock wears off, a new, maybe even more devastating horror sets in for the family. Gregor, the man who paid all the bills, is now completely useless.
You have to remember, Gregor's entire life was built around this one role, the breadwinner. He was the son, yeah, he was a brother, of course. But more than anything, he was the guy who worked to support everyone. And this is really Kafka's big critique, isn't it? He's pointing out how messed up it is that we so often measure a person's entire worth by how much money they can make.
And once you take that role away from Gregor, what's left? Just this. He's a burden. His identity has been completely stripped away and replaced with this one awful label. Now the family has to dip into their tiny savings, and all Gregor hears through the door are these hushed, desperate conversations about money.
And this is just heartbreaking, because physically he might be an insect, but emotionally, he is still 100% human. He hears his family worrying, and he's flooded with shame and this crushing sense of worthlessness. They're starting to see him as a thing, but he hasn't lost his very human ability to suffer. This all builds to a major conflict, and it's not about Gregor himself, but about his room. The space becomes a kind of battleground for his family's attempt to erase his past, and his own desperate fight to hold on to a single human memory. See, Gregor's new body has new urges. He discovers that he loves crawling on the walls and ceiling. It's actually one of the only bits of comfort he has left. Greet sees him doing this, and in what she thinks is an act of kindness, she decides he needs more space to crawl around, and her big solution? Get rid of all his furniture. And that right there is the central tragic misunderstanding, isn't it? From Greta's point of view, she's just helping the bug be a better bug. But from Gregor's perspective, his desk, his bed, these aren't just things. They're the last proof that he was ever a man. Taking them away is like deleting his entire human life. This is the moment he finally pushes back. As they start clearing the room, Gregor panics. In his first and only real act of defiance, he scurries out from under the couch and plasters his insect body against a little framed picture on the wall. He is physically trying to save the last piece of his humanity from being thrown out with the rest of the furniture. His mother turns, sees this giant bug stuck to her wallpaper, and she just faints, collapses. And that's the real turning point. Gregor isn't just a sad family secret anymore. He is now officially a physical threat to their well-being.
And that brings us to the violent climax of part 2. His father gets home, finds the chaos, and he is about to bring down his judgment in the cruelest way possible.
It all happens so fast. The father comes in, he sees his wife passed out on the floor, and he makes the instant wrong assumption. Gregor must have attacked her. Without a second thought, he starts chasing Gregor around the room, grabbing apples from a fruit bowl and just pelting them at his own son. And one of them finds its mark, lodging itself deep and painfully into Gregor's back.
This isn't just a physical attack, it's a bombardment. It's the father, the patriarch, brutally punishing the creature that has disrupted his home and his authority. The apple itself is such a powerful symbol, right? The fall from grace. It's like he's not just hurting Gregor's body, he's wounding his spirit and officially casting him out as an enemy. And so, That's where we leave Gregor at the end of part 2. He's no longer a son. He's not a brother. He's certainly not a provider. He's just a wounded, rejected outcast, completely alone in the very home he used to support.
Kafka wrote this over a century ago, but it leaves us with this really unsettling question that feels more relevant than ever. In a world that's so obsessed with what we do, with our productivity, with our value to other people, if all of that got stripped away tomorrow, what part of you would actually be left?